Sponsored by Midland. Communication for every adventure. The industry leader in radio communication technology and innovation for over 50 years.
Sponsored by MYMEDIC. First aid kits that will actually save your life, not just Band-Aids and gauze.
Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
Hi, my name is Phil from Waypoint Overland, and you're listening to Random Waypoints. All right, so here we go. Welcome to another episode of the Random Waypoints podcast. We'll be doing an episode every week, so like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss an episode. This week on Random Lists, I give my top 10 national forests. We'll have another installment of a segment called Waypoints that deals with navigation and planning for the overland traveler. We'll address being proactive when maintaining your rig and how, and settle the age-old question, do you need to air down? On our taste test segment, we'll have a battle between the most popular brands of dehydrated meals. You might be surprised at what we found, so stay tuned for the whole show. But first, let's look at the news.
During this segment, we'll cover various topics with a connection to overlanding in some way. It could be land use news regarding the national parks or the Bureau of Land Management. We'll keep you up to date on any auto industry news when it pertains to relevant and potential overlanding vehicles. There will be camping and outdoor industry news, as well as photography and video, fishing, hiking, and on and on. Now, here's the news.
A number of fires recently set in Everglades National Park have prompted authorities to offer a $10,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for setting them. The reward is offered by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms and Explosives, Everglades National Park, and the Bureau of Fire, Arson and Explosives. Within the last 3 months, there have been numerous fires intentionally set in the vicinity of the main park road and adjacent roads of the national park. These areas are easily accessed through the homestead entrance of the park. In addition to potentially damaging park resources and endangering park visitors as well as staff, these fires have cost the park hundreds of thousands of dollars for suppression. As South Florida enters into the driest part of the year, the risk of damaging wildlife increases. Anyone with any information about these crimes should contact any of the following. The initial interest in the Ford electric pickup truck looks promising. Ford CEO Jim Farley announced that the number of Ford F-150 Lightning reservations hit 20,000 within 12 hours after its unveiling. To place a reservation for the electric pickup truck, Ford requires a $100 fully refundable deposit. Orders will be accepted until fall 21, while the first customers' deliveries will begin in spring 22. The all-new Ford Bronco has earned the prestigious iF Design Gold Award. Out of nearly 10,000 entries, Germany-based iF International Foreign Design has named Bronco among its top 75 pillars of design across numerous disciplines and industries for elevating the brand and attracting new customers. The design group, which has been recognizing products for design excellence annually since 1953, is honoring the all-new Bronco with its prestigious iF Design Gold Award 2021 for its pragmatic, emotional design that brings the thrill of its iconic forebear into the 2020s. For the Bronco design team, the award validates their efforts to create a modern off-road SUV while maintaining the design simplicity of first-generation Bronco models from 1966 to 77. Visual cues such as a single-piece grille, round headlamp bisected by a bar with Bronco name, front fender trail sights, and redacted surface language free of superfluous styling or detail were highlighted by iF Design jurors. The all-new Ford Bronco starts arriving in dealerships this summer. MYMEDIC entered into an agreement to acquire Frontrunner Vehicle Outfitters, a global provider of high-quality products for the outdoor market headquartered in South Africa. This transaction strengthens MYMEDIC's product offering and distribution network for the vehicle-based outdoor market. Net sales of front-runner vehicle outfitters in the last fiscal year were approximately $35 million in US dollars, with a good operating margin. The products are sold on 4 continents through their own B2C channels and through more than 600 dealers. BF Goodrich Tires has launched On Trail, a first-of-its-kind mobile app for off-road enthusiasts. Combining essential trail companion tools with community sharing functions, allowing adventure seekers to communicate and share their trips in real time. Harold Phillips, Global General Manager for BF Goodrich Tires, stated, "With On Trail, we're bringing off-road adventures to the next level, making it easy for adventure seekers to find and share the best trails based on their specific criteria. On Trail can easily filter by weather conditions, trail difficulty, length of time, and user reviews to confidently identify the ideal off-road exploits. On Trail also recommends points of interest and includes the option to upload photos, allowing users to share real-time conditions and adventures. Additionally, integrated missions within On Trail will allow enthusiasts to take on new challenges. These missions may include supporting a trail cleanup or completing a first trail on a new terrain. With the completion of each trip or mission, users will earn badges, rankings, and points that can be redeemed for rebates and prizes. Now it's time for Random Lists.
Random Lists is all about lists Waypoint Overland has created on an array of topics, such as top 5 national parks, top 10 trails in the United States, top 10 fill in the blank. I think you get it. Some lists will be pure fun, and others very informational. But they all will have a connection to overlanding in some way. We're very interested in hearing your suggestions for upcoming lists in the comments. Now, here's our random list.
This week's list is my top 10 U.S. national forests. National forests play a valuable role in ensuring a healthy ecosystem for humans and wildlife. They're some of the most spectacular, crowd-pleasing wildlands on Earth. Under the U.S. Forest Service, the National Forest System now helps preserve hundreds of millions of acres from harm. Here are my top 10. At number 1, I have Tongass National Forest in Alaska. 35% of Alaska is forest, and Tongass is the country's largest forest, covering most of the southeast Alaska at 16.5 million acres. It's referred to as the crown jewel by the U.S. Forest Service. Most of it is made up of rainforest, and while the forest is best known for its wide expanses of trees, it's also geologically and climatically diverse enough to accommodate glaciers and ice fields. Tongass National Forest is habitat for a variety of wildlife, including brown and black bear, mountain goats, black-tailed deer, wolverines, river otters, harbor seals, and bald eagles. At number 2, I have Gifford-Pinchot National Forest in Washington. Gifford-Pinchot National Forest is known for its caverns and tunnels made of lava cooled over a vast amount of time. But the draw for most overlanders will be the Washington Back Roads Discovery route that runs through it. It starts from south of the forest at the Oregon border all the way north to the Canadian border. It's also home to the Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument. The forest spans 1.3 million acres along the sides of the Cascade Mountains. And it's made up of high mountain meadows and fields, huge glaciers, old-growth forests, and many volcanic peaks. It's also home to Mount Adams, the second tallest volcano in the state, after Mount Rainier. The forest has many rivers, lakes, and streams that contain a variety of fish like Chinook salmon, coho salmon, steelhead trout, cutthroat trout, and rainbow trout. You'll also find abundant elk, black bear, mountain goats, and bobcats. At number 3, I have the White Mountain National Forest. Spanning more than 800,000 acres, White Mountain National Forest features some of the most untamed and beautiful country in the Northeast, including the Presidential Mountain Range. A highlight of this region is the 6,288-foot Mount Washington that has long boasted the world's worst weather. With wind speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour recorded here, and as much as 4 feet of snow has fallen in a single 24-hour period. Despite the rugged weather, White Mountain National Forest boasts lush wooded landscapes too. Wildlife highlights in the area include moose, black bears, and peregrine falcons. At number 4, I have Bridger-Teton National Forest in Wyoming. The forest is part of the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem, which is considered one of the largest, nearly intact temperate zone ecosystems on Earth. Bridger-Teton is 1.2 million acres and straddles the Continental Divide. The terrain is studded with glaciers, lush alpine meadows, limestone peaks, and hundreds of miles of rivers and streams. You have an excellent chance to spot moose, bighorn sheep, grizzly bear, elk, bobcats, and bald eagles. At number 5, I have the Green Mountain National Forest in Vermont. This forest is like a dreamscape that changes each season. It's a full-on postcard winter wonderland during the coldest months of the year. And in the fall, things turn into a fall foliage heaven, which makes whenever you visit the perfect time visually. If you're a photographer or videographer that enjoys landscapes and/or wildlife, this must be on your bucket list. Green Mountain National Forest is a temperate broadleaf and mixed forest with plenty of wildlife. Beavers, moose, and wild turkeys all roam amongst the trees. There's something to do all year. Colorful foliage in the fall, camping and canoeing in the summer, or a picnic among wildflowers in the spring. At number 6, I have the Superior National Forest in Minnesota. Superior National Forest is a hot spot for kayaking, canoeing, hiking, fishing, and skiing. The Boundary Water Canoes Area Wilderness along the border with Canada is a 1 million acre paradise full of rugged cliffs and crags, gentle hills, canyon walls, rocky shores, and sandy beaches dotted with lakes of all sizes. Anyone who's spent the night in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness already knows that the night sky overhead is spectacular. The area's dark skies and northern location make it a prime spot for northern light sightings. The lights appear most frequently in the late fall and winter between the hours of 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. Superior National Forest also harbors some truly special wildlife, including gray wolves, moose, lynx, and black bear. It's also a popular area for birding, with hundreds of species reported in the area. At number 7, I have Dixie National Forest in Utah. This is a forest I never hear anybody talk about. Dixie Forest often gets overlooked for nearby destinations like Zion National Park and the Vermilion Cliffs. But Dixie National Forest boasts giant ponderosa pines and spectacularly colored cliff canyons, including the famous Red Canyon with its brilliant red spires. Other notable spots are Death Hollow, which is a very dramatic canyon and wilderness area made up of vertical gray-orange walls of sandstone, and Hell's Backbone Road, a rugged 38-mile road connecting the towns of Boulder to Escalante. The road has a bridge of the same name that has a 1,500-foot drop on both sides. Dixie National Forest is also home to Boulder Mountain, which contains a bunch of little lakes and opportunities for hiking, fishing, and other outdoor activities. At number 8, I have the Salmon Chalice National Forest. The Salmon Chalice National Forest contains most of the iconic Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness, the largest contiguous wilderness in the lower 48 states. It's nearly 2.4 million acres of rugged mountains, surging rivers, and fir and pine forests. The forest's roughly 2,616 miles of maintained trails should satisfy anyone's desire to be off-road. About 50% of Sawtooth National Forest is woodland, with 1,100 plus lakes and 7,500 miles of streams and rivers running through it. There are wide-ranging possibilities for recreation, from very primitive exploration to highly developed sporting on Redfish Lake. At number 9, I have Washington and Jefferson National Forest in Virginia. Washington and Jefferson National Forest are two national forests that became one in the 1950s. Washington and Jefferson Forest stretch across Virginia into West Virginia and along the Appalachian Mountains. There's an outdoor enthusiast paradise with ideal conditions for hiking, fishing, biking, skiing, horsebacking, riding, and hog washing. The forest is also home to 2,300 miles of streams, 40 species of trees, and 50 endangered plant species. At number 10, I have Humboldt-Toyabe National Forest in Nevada and California. This forest is a spectacular 6.3 million acres and is the largest national forest in the 48 states with 18 wilderness areas. Located in Nevada and a small portion of eastern California, the forest offers year-round recreation of all types. Whether you appreciate the heat of the desert or the coolness of the mountains, the Humboldt-Toyabe National Forest provides a place for you to enjoy your camping experience. And there's plenty of dispersed camping, so you'll get the peace, solitude, and adventure you're looking for. Well, that's my list. Do you agree or disagree? Do you have your own list? Well, share it in the comments. Now it's time for waypoints.
Waypoints. Waypoints will cover all aspects of navigation for the overland traveler. Navigation is the act or practicing of navigating, the method of determining position, course, and distance traveled.
Waypoints this week will focus on viewer questions. I was asked by a viewer, how long do I keep a fire extinguisher? I'm going to answer that, but the question made me think about all the expiration dates related to overlanding that you should consider. We're going to talk about fire extinguishers, bear spray, fuel, and more. So, how long do you keep fire extinguishers, bear spray, and extra fuel? Well, although they don't have a true expiration date, traditional fire extinguishers generally have a 10-year life expectancy. Disposable fire extinguishers should be replaced every 12 years. If the gauge is green or the pin indicator pops back up when pushed, the extinguisher is properly pressurized and ready to use. Now, when it comes to bear spray, over time, a bear spray can lose its pressure. Therefore, manufacturers print an expiration date right there on the canister. Barring exposure to extreme heat, cold, or physical damage like being dropped or dented, the shelf life of most bear spray products is in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 years. And as far as gasoline, when gasoline gets old, its chemical properties change. As a result, the engine cannot process the fuel correctly. Regular gasoline has a shelf life of 3 to 6 months, while diesel can last up to a year before it begins to degrade. On the other hand, organic-based ethanol can lose its combustibility in just 1 to 3 months due to oxidation and evaporation. Under ideal conditions, diesel fuel can be stored between 6 and 12 months. To extend the life past 12 months, even under the best conditions, it needs to be treated with fuel stabilizers and biocides. When it comes to expiration dates, I think that you should have a schedule. You should be setting reminders on a calendar of what to do. You should check the dates on medicines and other items in your first aid kit. And make sure to check dates on fluids that you keep in your vehicle fluid bag, such as oil, brake fluid, transmission fluid, and stuff like that. And while you're at it, recharge your jump starter box and check its level before setting out on a trip. I have a NOCO Boost HD GB70 and I plug it into my rig cigarette lighter every 6 months to recharge while I drive. Replace flashlight batteries and check freshness dates of extra batteries. I use rechargeable batteries and top them all off before I start my travel. And the biggest expiration date to be cognizant of all is follow your vehicle's maintenance schedule. And if you put a lot of wear and tear on your rig, I recommend shortening your maintenance intervals. Let's move on to another viewer's question. A viewer asked, should I air down on the trail and why? Well, airing down is the perfect way to get extra traction on the trail or the rocks. Airing down will give you more traction off-road, whether you're in sand, snow, dirt, rocks, or mud. When air is let out of the tire, it increases the footprint on the surface. A larger surface is a better contact patch and allows for more tread to grip the dirt or rocks below. When it comes to tire pressure, it does more than adding to the traction of the vehicle. It can also help with the ride quality. a lower tire pressure can make a drive on a washboard road more enjoyable. No matter if you're on an overland expedition, traversing a muddy swamp, or in the sand dunes, if your tire hits the dirt, you should be letting some air out. The best part about airing down is there's no wrong pressure. Go out to a local trail and play around on an obstacle, and once you find a pressure that works, you may be surprised how much more your vehicle is capable of on the trail. So, what tire pressure do you run off-road? And how do you air back up after the trail? Let us know in the comments below. Now it's time for taste tests.
Taste tests. Taste test is where we evaluate the taste of a food product, whether on its own or compared with other products. Some taste tests will be conducted blind, while others will focus on a particular brand or item.
This week on Taste Test, we have a battle between the most popular brands of dehydrated meals, READYWISE versus Mountain House. I know some of you store them in your dry boxes for emergencies, but have never tried them. So we'll be tasting each brand's version of chili mac and teriyaki chicken and rice. Who will reign supreme? Let's find out. All right, so let's take a quick peek at what they look like before we add water. It seems like over here, the READYWISE, the noodles are a little thinner, the colors are a little lighter. It looks like there's less seasonings in it, but we'll find out. And then here, over in the Mountain House, there's a more yellowish color to the noodles. The noodles are also thicker, and the sauce looks spicier, and it's a little more colorful and doesn't look as bland, but that means absolutely nothing, and we'll find out. Okay, everybody, so we've added the boiling hot water to each of them. The READYWISE uses 2 cups of boiling water, and you need to let it stand for 12 to 15 minutes. And with the Mountain House, you use 1.5 cups of water, and it's only 5 minutes. So from practicality standpoints, you're using less water when you use Mountain House. That could be a big deal, especially if you're like in the desert in Arizona, Moab, or something like that, where you want to preserve every drop. And 1/2 cup of water for each serving is a significant difference. Also, 15 minutes versus 5 minutes is a big difference. That may make the difference between you choosing it as a quick on-trail snack. You know, other people are making quick sandwiches and things like that, and you wanted a hot meal. You can get this one done in 5 minutes. This one, you're going to be waiting 15 minutes. That may be a big deal. So let's check them out. So we're going to start with the chili mac from Mountain House, and it actually looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir it up to make sure I'm doing exactly what they tell me to do. Now I want to tell you the very first impression that I have of this is it smells like something that somebody actually made. It smells good. I can smell spice. It's colorful. The noodles are fattened. The macaroni is fattened. So I'm going to put a little bit on this plate so you can get a look at it. And there it is. Let's get in a little closer so that you can see the texture of it. Okay, and let's try this. This is good. Full disclosure, I've eaten these a million times. This is actually my favorite of all of them. all the different flavors. Tastes like real chili. Tastes like real beef. The beans are fully dehydrated. I put the exact amount of water that they said. I didn't put less, I didn't put more. It's not soupy. This is definitely a winner. Now here's the thing, I've never had the READYWISE Chili Mac, so we're going to be trying that for the first time here. And I am not getting the same impression that I got immediately opening this up. Seems kind of watery, but let's stir it up and see what happens. You need a really long spoon for this. This spoon I have is a very long spoon, and it's still barely making it to the top of the bag. Now with stirring it up, it has gotten thicker, and we're going to add some to the plate so you can have a look at it. And there you go. Just like when we looked at it before we started cooking it, it's a lighter color, but the color has darkened. The noodles have gotten thicker. They're almost as big as the Mountain House, but the noodle isn't thick like the other one. The beans look about the same. It even has a similar smell. It is not as strong a smell. So let's try this. It's a big difference in taste. They went for totally different taste palettes. I don't think one is better than another, but I think you would prefer one over the other. I'm not going to waste your time. The Mountain House is my favorite by leaps and bounds. But if this is what I had, I would not have any issue eating this. But I wouldn't want to wait 10 more minutes cooking it. It's not good enough for me to wait the extra 10 minutes. I recommend both of them, but if I have to pick one, I'm definitely picking the Mountain House. It has a more homemade flavor. I know that sounds crazy for these, but it has a more homemade flavor. It has a more of a chili flavor. This has more of a spaghetti flavor. Now, while we were discussing these, I want to talk about some of the things that you can carry along with you that make these, they're already good, but you can kind of up things. Some green onion, chop up a little green onion. I always keep a chunk of Parmesan cheese with me. I'm always figuring out something else to add Parmesan cheese to, but shave a little Parmesan cheese in there. Or any kind of cheese you have, American, Mexican, Monster, mozzarella, they'll all work. But I mentioned the Parmesan, and I use the Parmesan because it doesn't start mildewing or getting fungi on it. It lasts long. It can deal with different temperatures and stand up to it. So Parmesan is a really good choice too. A can or bottle of salsa would go good with this, and with and the things that I'm mentioning, they'll go good with other flavors too. And since we are talking about other flavors, I want to go right into, yep, they're ready. I want to go into the teriyaki and chicken and rice and see. So right now, Mountain House for me is, and I can easily see somebody saying they don't like this, that this is too spicy, and they like this. Some people don't like spice. A lot of people don't like spice. So right now, Mountain House is winning 1-0. All right, this is round 2. We have chicken teriyaki and rice. We have READYWISE and Mountain House again. Also, just want to let you know that when it comes to directions, same thing, 2 cups of water, 12 to 15 minutes. But this time, the Mountain House is asking for 2 cups of water in 8 to 9 minutes. So let's get right to this. So we're going to stir up the Mountain House. They're winning 1-0 right now. And this has really thickened up. It thickened up more than I thought it would. Let me put some on my plate so that you can take a look at that. And that actually looks really good. It looks delicious. I can see the vegetables. I can see the peas. I can see the carrots. I can see the green pepper. I can see the sauce. I can see big chunks of chicken. So let's dig in. There's a bunch of vegetables in here. They're crunching, but not crunching like raw crunching. They're crunching like just good vegetables, good fresh vegetables, shockingly. The size of the chicken pieces are not significant, but not enough for you to complain. And that's delicious. I would eat that. Teriyaki chicken and rice is not my favorite. I've had them by all the different brands. They're not my favorite, but I do like Mountain Houses if I have to eat them. So let's move on to the READYWISE. Yeah. All right, we're going to stir this up. And it looks a little watery, which is what happened last time. But when I stirred it up, it thickened up. And it's starting to thicken up pretty quickly, but it's not as, well, I'll let you just take a look yourself. Okay, so you see, it's a big difference how soupy this is and how more texture there is to the Mountain House. How you can see the vegetables and everything. This almost looks like oatmeal. So let's see what it tastes like. All right, here we go. Don't like it. It's not nasty. Don't like it. So, today on our taste test, we tried Chili Mac by 2 of the most popular brands. We tried chicken and rice, teriyaki rice by the 2 big brands, 2 popular brands. And Mountain House won 2-0. And if we grade them by convenience, Mountain House wins again for time. When it comes down to waste, the Mountain House uses less water and tastes better, use less water, less time. I have nothing against the READYWISE products. I have some in my dry box that I plan on using, but as soon as I finish them, I'm probably not going to get any more of these. Mountain House is the winner, 2-0. But we're going to try, no time soon, but we'll come back and we'll try some other ones. Because READYWISE has some things that I like that I think that Mountain House is not strong in. And we'll taste test those too. Well, that wraps up another episode. In honor of Memorial Day, we leave you this week with footage from the Washington, D.C. National National Mall, where you'll find the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, the Korean War Veterans Memorial, the World War II Memorial, as well as many other historic memorials and monuments. We'll see you next week. I hope you like, share, and subscribe. And with that, I want everybody to stay safe, tread lightly, and hopefully I'll see you here or on a trail soon.
You have been listening to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.